Hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Show. I'm your host, Richie Leahy, here with my co-host, Maddie B. And I'll be honest, I had no prep for the show this week because for the first time in I think over a year, I was very sick to the point where I was just sleeping the entire extended weekend. Like, luckily we had that extended weekend. I saw the Hurricanes had to go to overtime twice and finally won an Eastern Conference Finals game. And I thought, oh my gosh, like that, when I lost the first one, I thought they're going to go and get swept. But then I was like, am I dreaming? Because I'll be honest, since I started like training harder, at least since like last April 2025, I know I haven't been sick. I think I looked at my watch and went back through, other than like maybe like a little cold or like having a fever. I think most of it might have been spikes on my watch from like overtraining a little bit. And then you just recorrect, right? Take an extra day or two and you're good. So they're just like little blips, but we've talked about it before. I have the Garmin watch. I've been using it religiously. I don't even know. We have the old model. I think you still have the same one, right? I didn't upgrade. Yep. I have the Instinct 2 Surf. I think me and Matt have the same one. And I've been using it with like some of their trainers and things like that. And I've had friends say like, you need to join, is it Strativa or Strativa? I don't even know how to say it. Do you know which one's right?
I know what you're talking about.
It's like the running workout app. Like, I guess people, it's like from what I've looked, it's like a Facebook for people running races and stuff. And they're like, you run, you should get this. And I'm like, I don't care if people know, right? I don't need people to know like that I'm training or I don't need them to know. I don't even post really on social media unless I'm just like posting random sports stuff for the most part. And I thought, I don't need people to know that I'm working out, right? Because everyone's going to be judging you anyway. Because I see dudes posting workout vids on Twitter, lifting weights, and they're like, look, going heavy. And they're using what I would think is like the worst form I've ever seen. And people were like, great form, bro, great form. And I'm like, his back is arched like a cobra. How is he not like breaking his spine into a million pieces? Like, he's not even trying to stay perpendicular with the ground and driving from like his hips. It's like he's using all back. And he has like 13 belts on. I'm like, bro, this is horrible advice.
Well, that is one of the most toxic areas of social media because there's so many different schools of thought with what's best in terms of training that you can really get sucked into some rabbit holes.
Well, I've been saying, I try to go through and when I'm doing my running training or even like my workout, I'm trying to eat kind of clean. I mean, I probably eat way too much food typically, right? But usually running, you burn a lot of it off. I know that if I really put in the time, like I said, if I try to focus, I could probably get my time down. And I might start doing that now that I've been sick because I thought, I hope I can never do this. I've kind of been dogging it because we're in the middle of softball season, right? Adult softball. And when I run, then my legs are tired. It's like the old King of the Hill joke, the episode they try to get Bill to win his football record back. And he's like, I can either practice or I can play in the game. That's the point. That's the point of like in shape that I'm at right now. Like, just put me in the game and because like running and like doing that, I'm constantly like sore. I've been having stingers coaching soccer. I was playing and trying to show the kids how to like, hey, we're going to like get the ball. You have to chase it out and you have to do like, hurry up, get on the sideline, check your feet and try to throw it in. So I was actually running and doing like a full overhead toss, right? And I don't know what I did, but I must have like turned to like talk while I was throwing or something. I tweaked the right side of my body. It's been hurting me since like the end of March. Like, I've had no time to recover. And so it's been bugging me. It's been hindering my softball. But today with the sickness, man, I'll tell you, as soon as I started running, because I wear my watch. Last year I took the watch off during the game and I thought, you know what? No, I'm just going to keep it on this year. What's the difference, right? I want to at least see, but my heart rate spiked as soon as I started like even doing anything physical and I just got gassed and I thought, all right, I'm still recovering. So I need to just keep it cool. I chugged like my entire water just sitting on the bench And I'm like, I never sit during the game. I'm usually too nervous, like pacing around no matter what I'm doing. I'm too competitive, right? Which I saw a study come out that if you're left-handed, you're more competitive by nature. And I'm like, that makes sense, right? That explains it. So if someone tells me I'm too competitive, I'm going to say, well, left-handed, blame it on that, right? Science. I'll start sending people medical journals. instead of like an angry thing, my rebuttal will just be journals. And say, contact this guy. Here's a journal for you. Educate yourself, fool. I can't help it that I'm not going to let you beat me at Tiddlywinks, bro. Get out of here. But yeah, my focus now, because typically in the summer, the one thing that I think really helps, and I'm horrible at trying to stay consistent with it, to me is yoga. I think if you can do, as you get older, I think flexibility is one of the biggest things. We talk about people working out online. I had someone try to tell me that it's impossible to do a one-legged squat with your non-power, like your non-dominant side. So like if I'm right-handed, I can't kneel down and then stand up with my left leg. I'm like, bro, you are literally describing like a walking lunge. You can't do that? You're like 40, right? That's not the end of your life. There's no way that you shouldn't be able to do these simple exercises. And I think as part of getting older, you need to put some type of effort in, because I see these guys, and you've probably seen them. Like think about people you might work with, run into on your daily tasks. Like just drop a pencil, man, and watch someone bend over like they can't even bend their legs. Like I definitely do full squat stretches all the time. And so now I'm going to be into the recovery part, because I jammed my left heel at some point. I've been playing second base. So I think there was a ball up the middle. I think I went and turned. I think it was the one I actually slid back on and bent my thumb. I bent my thumb back too. I thought, did I break my thumb? This would be really dumb if I broke my thumb playing softball, right? Because immediately my kid was like, he was cheering. He said, Dad, your thumb's hurting. Let's fire up some Mario Party, see what's going on. He's like, I can take you out now. He's like, hurt your right thumb. There's no way you can mash those buttons anymore. I'm like, dude, I'll come back full strength, even if I have to cast my hand. You won't be able to keep me down playing Mario Party from a softball injury. But that one healed. And now it's just my heel, because like you're on your foot every day. And I think it's just like from the spikes getting caught. Horrible. So I haven't done any icing. How have you been recovering? What do you do?
So to me, the biggest part is using the massage gun. And I think that helps with some of those softer tissue injuries. I don't know, like if you've used that or have one.
Didn't I show you those? I did that one thing where I was doing trials. Didn't I have mine first? And I said, check out this gun. These are going to be the next big thing. I got another one for you that they sent. They're like, hey, do you want to do a product test? And it was for a hand massage, like a glove that you put in your hand in. And it's like, I guess it's the rubber balls. And I thought, why would I want that? There's nothing in my life where I would think, you know what I really need right now? To massage my hand. Like I type all day. Like if it was like a carpet, if it was like yeah, could you imagine? You're in a meeting. I just put my hand in on the glove, put my glove on. I'm just sitting there. You hear the whirring. Like, what's he doing? He's loosening up in case he has to start typing a paper, writing some code, buddy. I thought there's no way. Like in your wrist, I would think like that's more what you would need it for, I think, right? Like carpal tunnel, like a hand massage, a foot massage. I've never heard of someone being like, you know what? I did this weekend. I went out and got a hand massage. So I don't know. Maybe it's like for construction workers or something.
Well, and some of the joints in between like your thumb and pointer finger is supposed to be like a stress reliever.
Well, see, I'm a musician, so I've like just always constantly stretch my fingers. Like the one thing that they have you do for like guitar is you can take your fingers. It's going to be hard for me to describe on the podcast, but you take your fingers kind of like in a V shape and you just put it on your forearm. So like you'd stretch it out. I'll show Matt on the video. It's like you just stretch it out like this for a bit and then switch. And it's like harder between the middle and the ring finger and then the pinky and the ring. But like typing, it's kind of the same thing because it loosens up the wrist joints. And then of course they have you do like the same. I've seen it. They call it, if you look it up, if you want something to do, you like, let's say you work a desk job, look up like desk yoga. I think they might have you do something similar. You could do it on your legs, of course, depending on how birdy your legs are. Like if you skip leg day, you could probably do it. If you have thick, meaty thighs.
Union listeners.
Yeah. Because like, imagine like you have huge Popeye forearms like me, bro. It's really getting you a good stretch, right? Eating the spinach, stretching your forearms, and then you can get a good stretch in. Like I guess it would work for piano players or tiddlywinks or anything like that. Maybe it's a secret to Mario Party. I don't know. But I would say that
competitive tiddlywink players.
What's the other thing from back? Pogs. Remember, weren't those things you threw down? You had to flip it over. So that's 90s reference. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, or they're like, hey, my kids played that, then you know you're super old because they have the demographics on here is way older. So I often wonder when I bring stuff up if anyone has any idea. They're like, what's a Mario Party? But they should know because there's a Mario movie now, what I'm talking about. So I think for some of those stretching, but for a gun to me, what I found lacking is I would like to have the gun do my hamstrings or my calf. I can really only do my calf, myself. But sometimes I like to really bend back, almost kind of like a fake push-up position. Like if you can bend your toes under you and lay down and then have someone kind of massage it while it's stretched. But it's too hard for me to do it. If I stretch my calf, when it vibrates, it kind of vibrates my shins, and I'm kind of afraid to get shin splints from it because I think the vibration in the back of your calf while I'm stretching it, I can feel like the front of my leg vibrating and it's kind of hurting. And I eventually just stopped and I said like, not worth it. Hamstrings, I feel like that there's no way. I have too much quad muscle that it's not going to give me like some weird femur. I don't even know the bones of the leg, to be honest. But one of them is big, and there's no way that's going to break from a machine gun through my meaty quads or hammies.
No.
So
but I do like with the first one that I had a couple attachments to it, but I liked that there was it was kind of like a circular, like rubberized part that it was like for soft tissue.
Yeah.
So like, it was a lot better for my hamstrings than like the tennis ball style one that was like, or the needlepoint one that was like just straight agony.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were. I didn't read the manual. I never read the manual. I figure if I can't figure it out, then I shouldn't be using this.
I'm just like, let's see how much of this hurts. It's like, oh, this is high level. Like,
yeah, you didn't put like the hard rubber one on. Your kids like, let me see if I can do your neck, Dad. It's like you're trying to paralyze you. Okay, get out of here. Because that's the one thing is like if you need someone to be able to help you gotta. Because the other place I would like it is I don't know if your like glutes would need it, or to me it's always like my back in between my shoulder blades for whatever reason. I consider it like my weak spot, like my kryptonite. They always need to be like massaged out. I don't know. I always feel like I get knots back there, and I try to stretch, like do the doorway stretch where you hold it and then you kind of lean back. I kind of bend. I don't know how to explain it. Podcast's probably horrible for me giving like exercise tips because I can't really show it. And obviously, if I'm posting, I can't even post videos because then someone else will say that I'm doing it with wrong form because I don't even know if people are doing it with right form. Right? I just got to do what people taught me. I actually
we'll just preface it and just say this is the form that I'm using. You can look it up and you go to a journal and figure out the correct angle.
Well, see, I was training with some some baseball pitchers from Major League, and it's like that was one of the stretches that they had us do. They also had us do a couple of chair stretches, like if you would stand up and just try to bend over at your hips and keep like your back straight and try to like really stretch your arms out that way and your hamstrings. And so I still do a lot of stretches like that are probably weird because I learned them as part of like a baseball routine. So what I do is probably different than what other people. That's why I think going from one sport to another sport that you've never coached, it's like, okay, what warm-ups do I know? Nope, that's clearly for football. No, that's for baseball. There's no way. We don't even throw the ball here, so we're not doing that. I'm like, there's some basketball ones that might kind of work, right? Like dribbling drills. I'm like trying to see how I can change the dribbling drills we did in basketball to like be applicable to soccer and like have the guys like, yeah, shift. Some of the cornerback stuff worked, like D-back work that I did when I was playing safety, like that kind of carried over because you're trying to like have the guy stay in front of the soccer ball. It's like keep your hips, like swivel your hips, like doing those drills. You've probably seen dudes do them for like the combine where you have your head up, you track the ball and move your hips. Like I did a lot of that stuff. I thought that was pretty helpful because at the beginning of the year, I had kids that couldn't even backpedal. So like not being able to backpedal and having them keep their head, like their balance and stuff. I think some of that football stuff directly impacted to having better defense for soccer. I know other coaches probably do kind of the same exact drills just because they need something like that. But I don't know. That's my injury thing right now. I still have my side still tight. I've been stretching it out. I don't think a gun would help me. And then my heel, I think I just need some rest. I told Matt at one point, I thought I had like threw my shoulder out trying to make a double play or something. I can't remember what the play was. And it's like, okay, it hurts me. And then it like doesn't hurt me for a while. And then I was like, all right, well, I can still throw them today like it wasn't hurting. And I thought if I actually tore something in my shoulder, went to the doctor, they'd give you like a surgery, but would it, like if it's not really a bad like tear, or even if it isn't a tear, I don't know, like is it just going to heal itself? Because after time, like it doesn't hurt. Right. There are like some weird angles. Like I can feel like, oh, my shoulder still has a little bit of tightness in it. But I figure, yeah, I'll just have to stretch it back out.
Had like major shoulder surgery. And they said, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Because there was a lot of pain.
That's what I had. I had another friend that did the same thing. Everyone that I knew had some type of arm surgery seemed like they regretted it. And I'm like, you know what? If I could just work it out resting, I'm going to see. I'll follow up on the show because remember, we're not giving any medical advice. I'm just giving updates on what I'm doing. The heel is going to work itself out. I'm going to start running because I need to decide when I'm running my next marathon, if I'm doing one in the fall this year or next year. And I got my 10K, my Big 10K, which I kind of like the shirts this year. I think they kind of looked like baseball shirts, maybe with almost a home plate design. But I can't remember because I can't remember when I signed up. It's been a while and I've been sick. So I might have just made that up. But I think the shirts are pretty cool this year. And I know I signed up already. So it's about time where it's like, I've been just running. I honestly have just been training sprints. And so I'm wondering if I can kind of segue that into maybe some faster pace at a shorter distance now that I know I could run like 26 miles. What's 6 miles, right? Can push myself a little bit more because I thought that during the marathon at one point I thought, man, I could really kick it up right now and I could probably crush my 10K like best because I never really tried. Like I just kind of jog and try to keep it around an hour and then I usually die or whatever. So I was like, man, I could probably really crush my time if I pick it up. And then of course getting hurt and stuff, we'll see how it goes. But are there any injuries that you're recovering from right now?
So I have a double injury of stupidity. Last Wednesday I was running and ended up tripping running through the park. And as I went to catch myself, I landed on a really weird angle and like tweaked my hammy. And I like hit a spot where I was like, all right, do I try to like finish my route? And I was like, absolutely not. Like you have to rest. So I get home and I ace bandage it and was like, went to work. It was just kind of like using a tennis ball to like grease the groove of like where it was hurting while I was sitting just like, oh, it's hurting here. And I just put the tennis ball on there and like roll it out.
Sounds awful.
Well, I got home and I was like, I still gotta take my son to karate. So I was like, I've been trying to like drill to him, like, even if you're not feeling the best, still try to push through. So I'm like, I got to model this and be like, look, I'm injured. I'm going to do what I can. Like, I might not make it the whole time. So then like, I really honestly went like, and like for the most part, like had a good workout, like had a good sweat going. It was really like being upfront of like, hey, I'm going light. I don't want to. I have a tweaked hammy. Last round of sparring, it was like little by little the intensity picked up, and my partner went for a sweep and just freaking crushed my ankle. Like I just felt a crunch, and I was like, "Oh, that's great." The next morning, I looked, and it was like, "Great!" I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." So I had like a bandage on my hamstring, bandage on my ankle, like high ankle sprain. It was, and I've been going back and forth with some shin splint type stuff that I'm like, I technically probably should be resting, but I feel like running is the only thing that's keeping my weight semi in check. So I want to like I've been just powering through it because it hasn't been at a point where like I really felt like negative. It was just mild pain. But this was like, all right, now like I'm legitimately having to just stop because I don't want to push it and then really end up injured.
Well, so did you go to the urgent care to find out if you had a broken ankle? You self-diagnosed?
I looked at it and I was like, okay, bruising means nothing's torn. I have full range of motion. I'm good.
You went to the healer, the neighborhood healer. He said, Matt.
I was looking at the local store to see if they had any antler spray.
You're like,
I was hoping.
He said, use the green sphere of power. And you're like, that tennis ball? He's like, no, the sphere of power, just lay on it and roll your hammy around. You got to believe, Matt, you can be healed. You should go to church and say, you know what? I could use one of the healings right now. I'm a little banged up. You're in MMA. So that's what my entire thing right now is like, how can I limit? And as I get more in shape, because like it's a long-term thing. And like I said, if I had put more time into it, because I see other guys that are like, you know what? Look at me. I'm jacked, shredded, like no family, no kids, no jobs or whatever. It's like, you're working out all day. Right? They're like working out all day. And then I see the same guys like, hey, I'm settling down, have a wife and kids. And next year they're like 50 pounds heavier. It's like, bro, what are you doing? You got to find the balance. Because I'll be honest, like I had, before like COVID and stuff, I wasn't really trying to stay in shape. And now I said, since I took that time off, it's for me coming back. Like it's taken a while for me to battle back. Because even playing softball last year, there were some plays where just not having the practice with the hand-eye coordination, like the hard hit ground ball today that I snagged, no way would I have caught that. Or even a couple of the fly balls, like it was hard tracking them to where the point where now it took me like almost 2 seasons to kind of get back into where it's like, all right, I'm confident enough that I can start snagging even more of these plays. And it helps you, like, it's not even a competitive, like super thing, but it's like, all right, enough to kind of keep you motivated and in shape. Cause I've seen some dudes that are like playing rec soccer and they're like, you should come out and play like rec soccer or like even like playing golf. I think having some type of hand-eye coordination stuff as you get older is big. Not just going for running, or I'm not saying like don't lift weights or whatever. Like I think you need to do a balance. Because that's the one thing I haven't really done is too much weight stuff. So I'm going to try to add that in and see if that helps me bridge some of the gaps that I haven't had. Because you talked about yours, dude, and having high impact. The bike I got last summer was a great idea for like working out some of those injuries because it's so low impact that I see people who are like, I'm riding my bike and I'm doing like 13 videos. I'm doing like some subscription. I'm racing people online. It's like, that's not what I'm using my bike for, bro. You can crank it down to almost zero resistance and really just work some of the range of motion stuff, especially if you have it like the seat set up high enough. Cause they kind of have it so where you can kind of move it back and up. And I mean, at least I don't even know what I have. A Schwinn one, it's like the Bowflex. I think they own each other. But I watched like the Bowflex setup or Schwinn setup for it where the guy showed like where you can really work out your range of motion by setting the seat correctly. And then if you like stand up on it, it's almost like you can crank the power up, but if you're going slow enough, it's not like doing like a heavy elliptical. You're kind of still working out like your ankle, or like it's good for working out like your knee range of motion a little bit too. Cause you can adjust it based on like, all right, my knee's sore or whatever. I don't really want to go run. It's zero impact. Like the bike is going to just keep it down like that. So I would recommend, I don't know if you have something like that you could do, or like a gym, because I know sometimes you work out at like the facilities. If they had something, that might be a way to get your ankle back. Because I think working out that motion, because in the past, like when I've had that, they had you do like the, I don't know, it was like the calf raise like stretch where like you stand on like a block of wood or like on your steps and really stretch it out and not put your body weight on it. But you just use that as a way to kind of just practice pushing up and really getting your ankle stability back. Because even if you have, I mean, you've probably seen it. Anyone listening to the show has probably seen it with football players where if someone has an issue, what's the first thing they do? They give them the brace to help stabilize it. And then they work their way through it. And heck, they can even play using that as a stabilizer. So I've done that before where you wear like an ankle brace you get at Walmart to help stabilize it, and then till you work your way back through to where you don't need it anymore. But you got to balance rest with it, right? You're not on roids, so you're not like recovering the next day.
Well, and I think like the whole ice and ibuprofen definitely help with like the management as well, and like not trying to push it. Although you mentioned performance enhancing drugs, did you see any of the steroid games?
No, did they start yet? Is my question.
There was some with swimming that I saw.
I saw one swimming dude. I didn't know if it started yet, but he looked like a monster, and I thought, "There's no way this guy's swimming fast."
The only thing that I saw is there was one record that was really pushed, and it was like a guy used one of the swimming like things that were banned from the Olympics, and he only like beat whatever record by like 0.07 seconds. So it was like a minuscule, like the findings were coming back that they were anticipating like these gargantuan gains for like separation of top to these performance enhancing people. And it's just not proving to be the case right now.
Well, see, I read that it was the opposite of that, where they're not trying to push that it's separating records so much that it will help athlete recovery to help the product. Really trying to pitch it to the NBA and I think MLB were the two that I was reading into, because with load management, like remember Nolan Ryan used to throw hundreds of pitches a game. Nothing has changed really, other than now they're babying some of these pitchers where they're like, yo, you can only throw like 100 pitches max. And what's different? Right? Because like even as a kid, I played in college, and I'm like, it's not saying like I was playing like a high level or whatever, but you could throw easily 100 pitches a game as a kid. And even as you get into an adult, like you can build that up as your arm. Now, do you want to do it? No, but you used to be able to. Like, I think a lot of the pitchers now, they pitch less throughout the year. And then because they're not like as frequent with it, they're getting hurt, and maybe they have longer careers, but a lot of times they're not having longer careers either. So it's not like they're getting a benefit from it. Because I think that's what they're afraid of. It's like, well, if I pitch, I might burn out faster. Because like if I'm pitching like 20 games a year or whatever, I might burn out. And then it's like, okay, well, people aren't even lasting that long anyway. It's like running backs. You're like at a dilemma. where a lot of these pitchers aren't, unless they're turning into like a finesse guy. Like who was that? Was it Jamie's? One of them that was like thrown in their like 40s, like the old Mariners guys. I don't want to say Jamie Moore, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And like Greg Maddux style, where you're just like throwing darts wherever you want to go, and you have to hit your target, and you can pitch for whatever. There was also a knuckleball guy that was throwing for a while, and was it Wakefield? I think he was like getting closer to his 40s too. I could be wrong, but now, yeah, okay, load manage it. Well, they're saying, hey, take these barely banned substances, and to where I had assumed the way they publicize this thing is that they were just taking regular Joes like me, where they're like, hey, buddy, come over here. We heard your podcast. Like, come over, take steroids for a year and train really hard and then see what you can do. But it's like, okay, like that I would watch that. If they would have made it a reality TV show where it was like, take a high school hero, a guy that everyone thought was like, can't miss. Cause I know those guys exist in every single town. Even when I was helping coach, when I was in college, I was helping coach a high school. I was talking to my brother about it like a while ago, and he was saying like, hey, remember like when you were really high on like so-and-so? It's like, yeah, whatever happened to that guy? It's like, that would be the type of level that I would like to see on this show. Like, remember the hometown here, like the show's high school highlights. It's like, you never worked out in college for whatever XYZ reason. You find that dude in his 30s and you're like, come take some steroids right now, dude, and see if you can relive it.
Hey, come take some steroids or testosterone.
I saw the one track lady. She was like an NCAA champ or something like that. And then she dropped because everyone was like, people that she had been beating as they got older and were getting ready for their Olympic trials or whatever, she noticed that like they instantly just got jacked and then were dusting her. And she was like, well, they're clearly on some type of enhancements. And so I'm retiring, which I see. Yeah, that's great. Like that's the kind of person like I would want in. But a lot of the other guys that were like, yeah, this guy's like really close and he wants to see if he can break a record. And then I look at him and it's like, is he? These are the best you can do. Like I want to see some real guys like gutting it out. I want to see like the prelims. I want to see people trying their hardest, like coming from nowhere to see if they can compete with these athletes. Like let a regular guy see if he can compete with like an NCAA track record. Because I know there are some of those out there that like, hey, things went bad for him. Things didn't happen. Like you reach out to call around for some high school coaches. I guarantee you could find like, yeah, so-and-so's working at like the local Food Lion for the last 10 years. Really banged up his knee or whatever, and then he never recovered. Like maybe he's healed. Let's see what the drugs can really do. Because if they're pitching it as a way for, hey, NBA, like LeBron, you don't have to you can play for 50 years now. And then they don't ever have to remarket the product or fix their flopping and stuff that you put in there. Like, great. Awesome. Go for it. Because that's the thing. People were complaining about the flopping on the Thunder. And it's like, you let LeBron flop. What did you think was going to happen? He let him flop for 2 decades. Just go on YouTube and look at the flopping like reels of him. I think they try to take him down. They're so ridiculous. Like he got shot, it looks like. That of course the younger guys are going to learn from that. Like everyone's comparing him to Jordan, and they're like, look at this guy. And you go watch his highlights and he's flopping around. You let the cat out of the bag. There's no way the NBA is going to get that back in, kind of like soccer, where they're like, man, once they end flopping, it's like, it's in. It's impossible to police because you don't know unless you have a guy sitting in the replay and you immediately ban him and suspend him for like 5 games or something. And like, even heck, if they want to do it, suspend him for the first playoff game. So every time you get caught flopping, you miss a playoff game. Not a regular season game because you can take a break. You miss a playoff game. That's the only way they could end it, is if you went to video review, because some of the LeBron ones, like he's not even touched. Some of them are like borderline where he's just like flying. Like some 180-pound dude is not pushing LeBron James across the floor. Let's just be real with that. Because there was a couple of those I saw. But if you're not touched and you flop at any point in the season and they have it on, and the coach, it doesn't even have to be live. They can review. They do the officials after the game. Remember, I don't know if the NBA still does that, but they're like, hey, here's our, we're going to roast you after the game, bro. All the mistakes you made, we're going to air our grievances right here, and everyone's going to be mad at you. That's what they should do for flopping. Like, hey, we missed it like 5 flops from LeBron, so he misses the first 5 games of whatever series. He would stop immediately. You would see him, and he would turn into a brick house out there, baby. He wouldn't be falling at all. You'd be saying, all right, LeBron's not missing any playoff games. Gosh. That's the only way to fix it. I guarantee that would fix it. Because, and then put in their contracts that if they miss any playoff games, their contract takes a hit. Because, like, they want to see you, like, I don't want you missing playoff games for flopping or whatever. You miss one, like, okay, all right. We'll see. It's a 7-game series, so it's not that big of a deal if you flop once. But then, like, that would instantly, I think that would cure the problem. Coaches can bring the tape up, and they have, like, put on ESPN and have fans vote for it. You know, like they do for the All-Stars? You vote for flop. You're like, he's flopping. I know he's flopping on that one. Get him out of here. All the rival fans are, like, voting. And then that's like only one vote, like the Heisman one, right? They're like, all the fans get one Heisman vote against like 800 other Heisman votes or however they do it. I think that's what they need to do to fix that. But I don't think any product bringing any amount of steroids to get more NBA players to play longer seasons, because that was the other thing they kind of pitched it to the NFL, was like, we know you want to add more regular season games. There's like they like worded it like, we know there's a sport out there that usually has high amounts of injuries that has very limited season. I'm like, okay, you just say NFL here, buddy. Because no other, unless you're talking about like the UFL or something, like there's no other sport that fits this criteria. They are narrowly defining, but you want injured players to come back faster through like and dude, they made it seem like the guy in charge, they described him as like a 50-year-old looking 30. Nah. He just looked like one of the celebs that had work done, where it's like, oh, you're trying to look young. Okay. And they're like, look how natural the steroids have made him look. He looks so young and how so prime. And I thought, this is not selling your product, buddy. Did he write it? I'm like, did he write this bio for himself? Like, look how beefy I am. Hey, all the ladies want me. I'm such in great shape. I could easily run a marathon right now. No prep. Steroids can do it. So I don't know. Giving an athlete that's close a bunch of steroids just to see if they can compete with regular athletes. I think the point is they're showing that even guys juiced up can't break the records because the records are being set by people that are already juiced and they haven't been able to identify it. I think that's the entire premise. I think it's like a bait and switch where they're gonna pull the reveal at the end and say like, I guess the other athletes are juiced too, right? Gotcha. And they're going to just show like a bunch of pictures of like how ripped LeBron is and like, hey, that's not normal, right? Must be juicing. He must be juicing already and he can't even play. That's going to be the reveal. It's like these guys are already all juicing and they still can't make it through a season because your body can't handle the juicing and that. It comes down to the recovery. Like I'm saying, even at my age, like I'm not a professional athlete, not doing anything, but like you have to have the rest built in because even a grueling, like however many weeks, like two months season I've had, 3 months. I think it's been like 3 months of just softball a couple times a week. It's just hard because you have other stuff going on. You're trying to do other things. And especially if you're like coaching and doing other activities, I guess using your body in different ways. Like I feel for baseball players that are like in their 30s or 40s. Like no wonder these dudes just want a DH. Because I would imagine like you tweak your oblique or something and you're like, man, Julio Franco, dude, he must have just been hammering like wood or something in the offseason to stay in shape and in his like late 40s or 50s, however late he played. And I always joked about him, but that guy, house. I don't know how else you can just stay in shape like that. But anything else you want to talk about with working out or recovery or anything?
No, not on that front.
I wanted to add before, since I was sick, Kyle Busch, shout out. I was always a big fan, and I saw that he passed away young too. I think younger than you. So crazy. And I hate how every single random sports thing was like, hey, I hate Kyle Busch, but now I'm sad. Why are you leading off about the dude? Just give an RIP and end it. Like one guy was posting this thing that I saw getting retweeted. Is like, here's 10 reasons why I hate Kyle Busch, but now I'm sad. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, do you need the engagement that bad? And some people were like, I just pretended to hate him, and I really did care for him, and now I'm sad too. And I'm like, all right, you don't have to be this dramatic every time. Yeah, it's a shocker, horrible for his family. I feel bad for his family. I liked him because he's a winner. I get why people didn't like him, right? You know me. I like champions of life like that. Guys that are winning, talking trash, making the sport fun. I don't want some square out there racing. Like Dale Earnhardt was fun because he's like the intimidator, bro. Right? Larry Bird was always talking trash. That's why it's funny, Larry Bird. Like, I'm going to hit a 3 in your face. And then he hit a 3 in your face. And then he'd be laughing at you. Kevin Garnett was like the same way. He's always out there talking trash, even after the game. Those are dudes I like. Right? So Kyle Busch, man, I'd pour one out for you. I think he like put a dip in the other day or the other week, but he was still racing when he was sick. That's, to me, that's the most alarming thing. We talk about resting. They said he's been sick. They weren't really figuring out what was wrong with him, but he never like took the time off because he's in the middle of the season right now. And I hear that even as like coaching kids or whatever, you're sick. You don't want to miss. You have people depending on you. You have your pit crew, other families depending on you to get your work done. But man, I'm shocked that they weren't able to at least identify. And I see like lawyers like, we're going to go after and figure out what happened here. It's like, really? We need you guys? We need the cavalry to come in and figure it out?
Everyone's out there to make a buck.
Yeah, it's a little too late in here, buddy. Just like when Dale Earnhardt, they're like, we got better seatbelts now, boys. I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm sure his son loves it. The other seatbelts. Because like even Dale Earnhardt Jr. was like, yeah, I used to hate that guy. And then he like told a story about how he like became friends with him. I thought, buddy, all right, save this for a later time. Not like the same day. People are like, did they have him ready to go? Like, you know how you used to have the old Rolodex of like contacts? You just have a thing of all your enemies. Like, this one right when this guy dies. the like you go first and someone finds it and they're like, oh my gosh. He wrote all these fake obituaries for all his enemies. But let's see. What else did I miss? Because I had sent you some stuff on Wednesday, and then I was like, oh no, I sent you the stuff on Thursday. And then, of course, like Friday hit, and right after, like for the weekend, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. And then like I just didn't wake up the rest of the weekend. And I saw that. Go ahead.
The one thing that I thought was interesting is that there was talks of the Bears and Commanders looking to invest in new stadiums, but within the design, the reports were that they were still leaving them open air stadium, which I can kind of appreciate the old school style, but in this market, I feel like if you're trying to look at going after Super Bowl bids and things of that nature, like you're not going to compete with like San Diego and LA and Tampa and like the Florida area, the lower California, Texas, like they're gonna hammer it but when in January, nobody wants to be in sub-zero temperatures for the Super Bowl when there's viable places that have temperature controlled domes or just in general better weather. But so I think it's a harder sell in 2026.
But one of the things with Chicago that I think we talked about with the World Cup is their city has made a point where they said that they're not looking at these large events because they know that they don't give the money that they promised. And so I don't know how that would work. Like if they don't want the Super Bowl, who cares? Now, something like a little bit possibly warmer would be like the NFL draft. I don't know how Chicago compares to like Pittsburgh, But Pittsburgh wasn't really warm when they had the draft there. At least I wasn't there, so I don't know for a fact. But it wasn't as warm as what it was supposed to be. And so they made it work. I think a lot of teams right now, the open air sometimes are better for like concerts in the summer. And I think that's where they're making a lot of money. I seen Clemson has been doing big country concerts down here as a way to bring in extra funds. And they've been selling out. And I know NC State, I've seen the Rolling Stones at NC State Stadium. I think it was the Rolling Stones. And then maybe is Deep Purple coming there this year? Or maybe they're just coming downtown. Like they've been bringing in other older bands to like fill up the stadium as a way to make money. And typically if it was a dome, you could kind of do that year round. Maybe, but I know for a lot of times you still have to pay for all the staff and everything. And so like colleges too, I'm surprised, like you mentioned up north, like Northwestern was cutting their stadium down, leaving a lot of it open. And you're in a double-edged thing. Like you want the home field advantage. I think that's what they're really looking at for the NFL playoffs. I would rather have a home field advantage, open air stadium than worry about having a dome like Minnesota where anyone could be comfortable, because I don't care how loud these domes are. They're not as intimidating as playing like in Lambeau Field or is the Chicago one still called Soldier Field, where it's like snowing and you have winds and all the fans are just booing at you. I think the outdoor ones are way more intimidating, and I'm probably wrong if you look up like the records in the playoffs, but I wonder if there's a correlation between open air stadiums and home field advantage in the playoffs versus dome stadiums.
Well, that was always a knock on Tampa. You know, when in the late 90s, they kept choking, having to play Philadelphia and Donovan McNabb. They'd get bounced out of the playoffs because they'd get up there to the cold weather and struggle to compete.
Well, even Peyton Manning and Tom Brady going from the dome to New England, you had those kicking issues and you go inside, they blame it on the kicker, right? Like you're doing head games, right? You're like, I got to get practice kicking outside. And then you're like, well, we're playing in the dome. We got the home field advantage. And so like you're trying to go back and forth. I think that plays an issue too. And heck, how many of those dome teams compare like Super Bowl wise versus the open air? Like do they have a dome? I think they do, don't they?
No, theirs is open air.
Is it open air?
But like it was strategically designed to be a loud stadium.
I know, because that's what that was my other thought, is if it is open air or if it is enclosed, does it make it louder?
But the design of it anymore, like have it, if you want to have that advantage, have it be retractable. Like don't be a dumbass, because then like you can cater. If your whole thing is like I want to host for concerts and stuff, fine. Then give it that ability that you can do it year round, where you can close it if you have inclement weather. And I think that's how you guarantee that you're going to get the better crowds and better south. Like, oh, it's heavy rain today, I'm going to keep the dome closed. Problem solved.
I think a lot of them too, if you do a dome now, you can do a lot more boxes and stuff and make it better. But I don't know how much that is, because I'm surprised that a lot of colleges and universities haven't done more of a multi-purpose type arena for wrestling and those that are more of like an indoor dome, and just have like an all-in-one for the same thing that you're talking about, like smaller concerts and things like that. And even like esports or something where you have a lot of stuff that just comes in. And then if your sport gets big enough, then maybe you could have like 2 or 3 different sizes, like one bigger arena for football, one middle size for like men's basketball or something, and then like a smaller one. And then if women's basketball gets popular, you just bump them over and work. Because I know some of them work both, or if they have both already. That's where I'm wondering, like, as some of these cost cuttings in, and they're saying like, well, we can't afford renovations anymore. We can't afford these things. It's like, all right, share again, right? And you're going to have trouble recruiting, but What is your other option? Cut the team? I don't know. NFL, like, yeah, go. You're not doing any benefit. That's why I think the government has all this stuff in there. They should at least make it illegal that taxpayers cannot pay for funding or whatever. Or if they do, then the team can't leave. Right? Has to be one or the other. Because like how many cities have been ripped off doing it and then still being held hostage because whatever. So like whatever the initial agreement is, like if they make a stadium, like when was the athletic stadium built? Like last probably. And they've been like complaining and trying to leave forever. Lock it in. Lock it in for 100 years. And then see what they need to do. The owner should have to do the upkeep. Really. Right? They're making the money off it. The taxpayers aren't getting a kickback. I mean, that's why I think that would be the future, though. Like the Braves, you can buy stock in the Braves right now and help the Braves win the World Series. Like you can join me as a Braves owner, baby. And let's go out there and get it done. I think full disclosure, I have to say that, right? I don't know anything about investing, right? Go out there. You can be, there are some other teams that you might be able to. I know the Broncos were potentially like pitched like that. I don't think any NFL team, it has like a stock option where you can go in there other than like the Packers, but that's not really on like the stock market where you can trade it yet. But I could see like if the NFL opened up, I could see that happening. And then what? They just convert the stock owners to like an actual stock market type deal. And then anyone can invest at any time. And it opens up because I think something's going to have to give. They're already fighting right now about the TV carriage, right? More and more games are going. And I think, wasn't the president saying something about having a look into seeing how many games are not on TV anymore? Especially with the Wednesday game, which me and you were dying.
He's still holding a grudge with the NFL over the USFL.
I know. I said it. I knew if I said his name, they'd probably ban our show or whatever. So I figured it wasn't worth the risk. But I think right now they would go ahead and be in a tough spot if they keep adding games. That's my read on it. I'm not a fan of Wednesday games. As a fantasy, you're making me not want to play fantasy football. And that is, I think, one of the drivers to these other casual games that the NFL is going to squeeze the golden goose. Because if fantasy football becomes a daily thing, instead of just like a casual, like, all right, it's almost a weekend Thursday, let me get my boys ready, start talking to the guys, see what's going on. Like, right, anyone getting together this weekend? Let's start talking some trash, right? If I'm having to do that every day of the week, Monday, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's not a fun thing anymore.
My AI generated trash talk.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm just gonna let it ride, because you have to lock them in anyway. They make you lock it in for a week with football, but you still have to like check, and then someone's injured, and you're like, well, is my injured guy gonna play Monday? Do I have to really play this guy on his backup on Wednesday just to be safe? And then you're gonna get guys that are frustrated and say, you know what? I just don't care anymore. Right? I don't care. I'm out. You guys can take over. And I mean, I've seen people quit and then not play, and they're like, I'm really into gambling now. And then it's like, I'm really into rehab now.
I'm really into heroin.
Like, started gambling. I lost my house. Can I come stay with you, please? Like, oh, awesome. But yeah, the last thing I had was LSU bringing back Coach O. I don't know if we talked about that. But I thought, man, what a match made in hell. Him and Lane Kiffin, they're like just trying to make LSU the heel that everyone hates. I don't know anyone. I'm looking at it from our perspective, right? Podcast, football guys, we cheer for football guys, right? I thought the Kiffin stuff was funny when he left Tennessee, and then they left him on the tarmac at USC. And he's kind of been doing like a comeback story. And he had a chance at Ole Miss to stay there. He could have been in the Final Four last year and really turned a corner with NIL, and where some of their fans must be hungry, right? And so now he's like talking trash on the heritage of the school and the whole state, and he's just becoming an enemy. And then he's hiring back dudes that are saying like, yeah, I used to cheat at LSU. I used to have to sneak money in the back door. Now I can just come right in the front door and pay these guys. It's like, oh, the guy that admitted to cheating and won a national championship, they didn't clearly look into it. But now they're coming back. And then based on what Dabo, he's complaining, he's getting Ole Miss investigated. for tampering, which to me is a crazy thing because now can you just accuse anybody? Right? Whatever happened to that Georgia guy that like was sent as a mole that ratted out Florida State? Did they ever look into Georgia? No. Are they going to look into Clemson now? Like Dabo's like, I tried to get his phone. He wouldn't give it to me. It's like, yeah, why would he give you his phone? Like, hey coach, I'm transferring. I'm going to need your phone first, buddy. I need to read through it and make sure none of my picks are in there. Like, get out of here. So I wonder what's going to become of that. And then if the Ole Miss coach is just kind of being used as like a weird Lane Kiffin, I don't know, tsunami, like scapegoat, like, I don't know. What if he's cleared out and Dabo like has nothing? I don't know what, because Dabo's been complaining about transferring for the past 8 years when they've been stinking. However long it's been. Since Clemson's been down, all he's doing is crying about transfer portal. I mean, he's going to this depth because of a linebacker that apparently the rumor is, I don't know the guy's name, but if anyone looks up, I read into this because a lot of Clemson people down here, right? Still where I live. So they're really heated up, Matt. I get all kind of Clemson things that I try not to bring it to the show because it's ridiculous. But they're mad because apparently Clemson landed a linebacker that wanted to go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss said that, hey, we already have X linebacker. He said he's coming back. And I guess they gave him the value. Say, like, let's say it's $1 million. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. This is like what our linebacker value is, $1 million. If the spot opens up, let us know if you want to come back. The linebacker that, of course, that stayed transferred to LSU. So this guy re-entered the portal after already going to Clemson, right? Because I think you can do that, right? If the portal's open. So he re-enters knowing that Ole Miss's linebacker position opened up because he saw the guy that was ahead of him transferred, had a spot open, transferred back to Ole Miss, and now he's that guy, assuming that he took the $1 million deal or whatever it was. Dabo was saying that he told him, hey, if you give me another guaranteed year at the same $1 million, then I'll stay at Clemson. And Dabo was like, I'm not negotiating. And then he was like shocked that he left. So, I mean, if you're second choice and then you know the guy has a potential to leave, I'm all for the athletes. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he did get tampered. Maybe they leaked to him and said, hey, one of our guys is threatening to leave. Are you willing to come? We'll tell him, kick rocks, dude, go to LSU, and we'll bring you in. Okay, maybe it is tampering and they can do whatever they want with them. But I saw the same thing with Jim Harbaugh where the NCAA went after him and they were going after him for weird things like reporting a cheeseburger that didn't have cheese on it or something. Like the most weird look into. If you read some of those NCAA cases against Jim Harbaugh, they are absurd. And I know rival fans will be like, oh no, you're covering up the Michigan blue wall, baby. They're hiding it. It's like, no, just like when Rich Rod got his like stretch gate or whatever, where he stretched for 15 minutes extra. Oh, okay. Like they wanted him out. Michigan reported it to get him out. Like, yeah, some coaches have that happen, but like Jim Harbaugh, it was a really weird thing where it's like, who really wants this guy back into the NFL? And they got their wish. And then guess what? Michigan cleaned up until Coach Moore went crazy. Right? Now with Whittingham, he seems to be on top of it. I don't know. I no idea how the season will go. But I was trying not to talk about college this week. I feel like I've been hammering that lately because the expansion stuff's been annoying me. So I have nothing else. You have anything else you want to talk about this week?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Hopefully the show was a change of pace. I'm going to keep you guys posted on how my recovery goes. See if I can fully get recovered, do some yoga, try to start running. And let me know if you have any tips and things that you're working through. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.